Viewers, in the National Herald case today, a Delhi court refused to take cognizance of ED's complaint against Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi. The question is why? Because as per this court, ED's prosecution complaint akin to a charge sheet against the Gandhis was not maintainable in law. Because it was based on a private complaint and not an FIR, which is a predicate offence filed under scheduled offences. Simply put, ED's action was without jurisdiction as it was without an FIR, which is a prerequisite. Congress was quick to claim vindication. Truth has prevailed. Satyamev Jayate. This was the message of the grand old party on X. Congress reiterated that the whole case was politically motivated and legally untenable. It even said that there was no case of money laundering, there were no proceeds of crime, and there was no movement of property. All charges were baseless. Listen in.
देखिए, हमने बार बार कहा है कि सत्य की जीत होगी। इस नेशनल हेरल्ड के केस में कुछ नहीं है, सच्चाई है। इसको घसीट के आगे ले जा रहे हैं, इसमें कुछ नहीं है।
AJL is now owned 90% by another company, Young India. That is all that has happened. Cognizance is the lowest form of dealing with a case. It is very easy to take cognizance of a case. It means that the case is not worth taking cognizance of. And here you see the amount of the halla gulla shor machaya hai. BJP has made a superstructure of exaggeration.
प्राइवेट आर्मी की तरह ईडी, सीबीआई, इनकम टैक्स, चुनाव आयोग सबको इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है। मैं सरकार शब्द नहीं बोलूंगा, मैं प्रधानमंत्री शब्द भी नहीं बोलूंगा, मैं गृह मंत्री भी नहीं बोलूंगा। माफ कीजिएगा, मैं कहूंगा गैंग्स ऑफ गांधीनगर। ये गैंग्स ऑफ गांधीनगर जिस तरह से हमारी एजेंसीज का दुरुपयोग करता है, आज वो बेनकाब हो गया, आज उस पोल खुल गई।
And viewers, Bharatiya Janata Party was quick to fact-check the grand old party. BJP says this order is neither a setback for ED nor a relief for the Gandhis because there was no comment on the merits of the case. Originally, the case was based on private complaint, but now there is an FIR. Delhi Police's Economic Offences Wing lodged an FIR in this case in October this year. Listen in to the BJP.
Court will reconsider it because there might be some problem. The court will examine the entire materials on record, the case diary and everything, and thereafter court will take a decision. For the moment, the court has refused, but after going through the entire material produced by the ED and all that, the court will take a decision.
Now, interestingly, viewers, the court also ruled that leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi, Congress MP Sonia Gandhi and other accused are not entitled to a copy of that FIR at this stage. But information regarding the same can be provided. ED was also allowed to continue the investigation. Sources say ED is likely to move the higher court against the trial court order, and Economic Offences Wing has summoned the Karnataka's Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivkumar on 19th of December. So we ask, if the outcome benefits the opposition, the judiciary is fair, just like the Election Commission. When opposition wins the elections, they were fair, they were free. Otherwise, there is vote chori. So why conditions apply when it comes to institutions in our country? Was it probity or prosecution? And to discuss it, I'm joined on the broadcast by my guests. We have Syed Zafar Islam, National Spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Dr. Kishle Pandey, who is Solicitor Supreme Court, Sanjeev Kaushik, who is a political analyst. We also have with us Manaswi Thapar, lawyer and a political analyst. Good evening to all of you gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. Syed Zafar Islam, Congress party says Satyamev Jayate, after seeing what happened in the courtroom today, and also you heard what Mr. Pawan Khera had to say. Gangs of Gandhinagar, he said, had always misused the agencies, and today what happened in the court proves that everything that was said about the Gandhis, about the Congress party in the National Herald case was nothing but political vendetta.
Well, today they may feel that it's a setback, but it's just the procedural issues, and that's why the court has given a judgment or ruling which they feel that it's a vindictive for them, vindication for them. But The fact is that it's just a temporary measures which the court has taken purely because it was a private complaint by a private individual and not by an agency, and then now EOW is actually investigating the case. And you will see the on the basis of the EOW investigation, ED will file another FIR and take the case further. And then in any case, they are challenging it. Despite knowing technical issues, ED went ahead because for certain reasons, they felt that it is important to take this into court. And of course, even if court decides not to entertain it, it's perfectly fine. By then, EOW will definitely investigate, and based on that, ED will definitely file another FIR, and then they will also appeal to the higher court as well.
Okay.
So it was a strategy which was well defined, well planned. A strategy of it's not a relief to Congress Party's chief. They are out on bail, but it is just a temporary relief.
Okay.
It's not
Manasvi Thapar, how will you like to respond to this point of the BJP? It's just a temporary relief, not an acquittal.
I think he has not gone through what the court has said. The court has very clearly said that it is not admissible, and when a decade-old case which is tried this way, and this has resulted into multiple media trials, and BJP multiple times on the stage of BJP have said that chore, corruption, National Herald, and the entire country believed BJP that this is a rock solid case, and somewhere down the round Gandhis are not strong in this particular case. This was the narrative set by the BJP and by the media, and now when this comes out by the court that there's nothing, this is not permissible by the law, and you don't even follow the procedure, the basic question or the basic essence of that FIR is not there, and you are still continuing with that narrative, and this only benefit the BJP in the last 10 years. But the reality is there's a lapse in procedure, there is lapse in rule of law. You don't follow the constitution, you don't even care. Now the bigger question which will come to the mind would be, what was the ED actually doing? Don't ED have those kind of officers who could follow the procedure of law? They even have that lacking of educated officers who could file a proper FIR or who could tell them the political bosses.
Pandey, isn't that a fair point? What was Enforcement Directorate really doing all these years? Why was proper procedure not followed? Even though it is a temporary relief, I mean, this case has been going on for about 10 plus years. And what we get to know today is that even the process was not followed. I mean, what is really happening in this country?
Fair point. And first of all, I must clarify that I'm not a political person. I'll be on a legal aspect only. And I'll begin with this. In the matters of Radhesham Kejriwal, the Honorable Supreme Court has clarified that in order to take the cognizance for ED, obviously, the only thing is important that in the matters of private complaint case, the competent court has taken the cognizance. Once the cognizance of a private complaint case has been taken, the initiation loses its any relevance of any manner whatsoever. This is one thing. Secondly, how the ED proceeds in this kind of matters. There has to be either the FIR or
no, but why was it not there in your opinion? Why do you think FIR was not filed in this particular case for all these years? Were the officials who were following this case day and night not aware of the procedure?
No. FIR is never registered by ED. What ED registers is called ECIR. And how it proceeds, first of all, ED takes the cognizance of any FIR.
But there was no FIR. That's exactly what the court said today.
FIR has already been registered in October by Delhi Police.
That is exactly my point. FIR has been registered by Delhi's Economic Offences Wing on 3rd of October 2025. But why was there no FIR when the case began? Otherwise, today the court, would have taken cognizance of the matter, isn't it? So isn't it a procedural lapse, a blunder on part of the Enforcement Directorate?
It's a strenuous consideration taken by the London Special Judge ED courts. He has transgressed, he has crossed his jurisdictional proprietary. He has failed to appreciate the Supreme Court guidelines that Supreme Court commands that in case of if the private complaint case exists, the ED can take the cognizance and ED can register the ECIR. If one judge has committed the error, it cannot be said that the entire process has been flawed. If this is how the ED cases are to be thrown away. In that case, it will be absolute chaos in PMLA proceeding. In day-to-day, we are seeing that ED is taking the cognizance of private complaint case. No matter it is the state, no matter it is the company filing the private complaints case or the individual case filing the complaint case. Not only this, kindly bear with me for 1 more minute. The special judge has opined here that since the private complaint case on the basis of which the ECIR has been registered has been filed by the private person. And this ground is no ground in the eyes of law. Obviously, it is open for the ED to go to High Court. This is one thing. And this is not a temporary relief. This is no relief in the eyes of law because ED's investigation is already complete, charge sheet is already filed. What ED has to do, either ED can go to High Court or can take the simultaneous cognizance.
Sanjeev Kaushik, how will you like to respond to this point? Because this is something that many are saying today that this can't be seen as a relief because the court did not go into the merits of the case. As Dr. Kishle Pandey was also explaining to us, the case isn't over. This isn't an acquittal really.
देखिए हीना राहुल रेवेन्यू कोर्ट के विशेष न्यायाधीश विशाल गोगले ने जिस तरह से इसको रद्दी में एक तरह से मैं कहूं कि टुकड़ी में डालते हुए कहा कि ये सुनवाई के काबिल भी नहीं है। पिछले 10-12 सालों से जिस तरह से भारतीय जनता पार्टी भ्रष्टाचार, मैं तो अभी भी कहता हूं कि सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी को ज्यादा सीरियस लेने की जरूरत नहीं है। देश के प्रधानमंत्री की चरित्र पर जिस तरह से वो उंगलियां उठाते हैं वो भी हमें नागवार गुजरता है। वो जिस तरह से जयशंकर प्रसाद के बारे में बोलते हैं, अमेरिका में जाने के बाद में जिस तरह से क्योंकि वो किससे सुनाते दिख जाते हैं आजकल मोबाइल पर और टीवी पर, जिस तरह से चीन के संबंधों के बारे में वो बोलते हैं, एक सिरे से मैं खारिज करता हूं उनकी बातों को। और भारतीय जनता पार्टी उनके इन सारे आरोपों में से चुनिंदा आरोप निकाल करके विपक्षी पार्टियों के ऊपर हावी होने का प्रयास करती है और जितना सीबीआई ईडी जितने घोड़े हैं सबको दौड़ाने का प्रयास करती है। एक तरह से ये तमाचा है कि जिस तरह से पिछले 12 सालों से आप लगातार भ्रष्टाचार कह रहे थे और वो यदि पवन खेड़ा ने कहा कि गैंग्स ऑफ गांधीनगर तो बुरा नहीं है, नाम लेना जरूरी नहीं है, लेकिन ये दोनों लोगों के हाथ में जिस तरह से एक पूरी ताकत आ गई है और देश के संवैधानिक संस्थानों का जिस तरह से क्षरण हुआ है और उसका बेजा इस्तेमाल जो लोग करते हैं, आज हिंदुस्तान की जनता को यह समझने की जरूरत है कि किस तरह से खारिज कर देती है कोर्ट और इसको सुनवाई के लायक भी नहीं समझती है।
लेकिन आपने मेरे सवाल का जवाब नहीं दिया। केस तो खत्म हुआ नहीं है अभी। ईडी ने कहा है कि वो इस मामले को चैलेंज करेंगे और शायद जफर इस्लाम, आई एम कमिंग टू इन जस्ट अ बिट। संजीव कौशिक, और दूसरी बात ये भी है कि एफआईआर तो दिल्ली इकोनॉमिक ऑफेंसेस विंग ने फाइल कर दी है, तो केस तो चल ही रहा है। केस कहां खत्म हो गया है? एक्विटल या फिर क्लीन चिट थोड़ी मिल गई है यहाँ पर इसमें जो एक्यूज्ड हैं।
2025 में दोबारा एक और कड़ी उसमें जोड़ने का प्रयास किया गया। ऑलरेडी जो केस पहले से चल रहा था, पता था इनको कि उसमें कोई दम नहीं है, एक और ऐड कर दिया गया, उसमें ऐड कर दिया गया और उसको आगे बढ़ाने की कोशिश पर है।
जफर इस्लाम वांट्स टू कम इन, देन डॉक्टर किशले पांडे।
Yes, I am saying that.
Dr. Kishle Pandey, 1 second. Sir, Zafar Islam.
It is very unfortunate that they are making this kind of a statement. It's very unfortunate that Congress spokesperson making this kind of remarks against the Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable Home Minister. That shows that that they lack decency. They also lack the political mindset what opposition should have, and that is why they are testing defeats after defeat, because people definitely realize that Congress party is only about ruling the country, not safeguarding the interests of the common people on the street. As far as this particular case is concerned, there is no setback for ED. As I said, ED knowing fully well that it may not achieve the objective which everybody was expecting, purely because of the
with due respect, Syed Zafar Islam,
but he also knew that
why was it not handled in a professional manner? Why was it not handled in a professional manner is my question.
It is.
There was no FIR,
it is
sir.
Absolutely.
Why was the FIR only filed in October this year?
No, who said? Everything is managed professionally by the professional agencies. They are independent. I can't speak for them, but all I can say, based on the merits of this case, that there is no acquittal for the Gandhis, and case is still continuing. It is just a temporary relief purely on a technical ground, which eventually ED will know, because FIR is there by economic
I mean, if you are talking about technical ground, that technical ground is that proper procedure was not followed. Proper procedure was not followed. Dr. Kishle Pandey, isn't that a cause of embarrassment for the investigative agency that has been dragging this case for so many years, for over a decade?
Absolutely not at all. It is not at all the case that the proper procedure was not followed. Kindly appreciate.
No, you tell me how was it followed? Okay, 1 second. Dr. Kishle Pandey, 1 second. You know, I have the copy of the order also in my hand, which has come out just now. And here, this is what the order says. An investigation and the consequent prosecution complaint pertaining to the offence of money laundering defined under sections 3 and punishable under section 4 PMLA is not maintainable in the absence of FIR for the offence mentioned in the schedule to the Act. Why was the FIR not there all these years? Why was the FIR only filed in October? That too by another agency.
Special judge. He has crossed the judicial proprietary while determining these kind of findings, and this is not the conclusive finding or the order. Obviously, high courts are open. Honorable Supreme Court is open. This is one thing. Secondly, since after this private complaint case, ED took the cognizance of the private complaint case, completed its investigation, and did two things. One, filed the charge sheet before the court of learned special judge. Secondly, also filed the complaint before Delhi police.
Manasvi Thapar, how will you like to respond? Now, this is the argument that has come from the other side. Manasvi Thapar.
This is a very shallow argument. When we talk about the process of law, the basic question what comes to the mind is, for more than 10 years, this particular private complaint has been there in the political domain and in the judicial domain, and suddenly in the month of October, ED realizes that now there has been a lapse. After 10 years, they realize the procedure was okay till 10 years, and suddenly they realize in the month of October the process is not completed. That's why they filed before Delhi police FIR. Before that, they understood that it was not a complete procedure, and that is what has come in light. So the entire 10 years narrative.
How can it be said that Satyamev Jayate, truth prevails? Because, like I said, the court has not gone into the merits of the case. Court has not put a stay on investigation by ED in this particular case. So it's not over.
Heena,
it's not that the accused are off the hook.
Heena, when the entire process for 10 years was lapsed, the entire legal process was completely sabotaged. It's not about two individuals getting some kind of a relief. It's a judicial slap on the politically motivated process. The entire process was corrupt. It was not National Herald, which was corrupt, which they were shouting loud and clear. But the reality is the entire process was corrupt. And this is what is coming out after 10 years. Heena, you and I are debating on the fact that जिसके लिए हम लड़ रहे थे वो the process ही गलत था. So what about the factual legal point which may come out after 10 years?
Sanjeev Kaushik.
Now we don't even know.
संजीव कौशिक, एक और सवाल जो इस वक्त बन रहा है, जो काफी लोग ये भी पूछ रहे हैं ऑपोजिशन को लेकर खास करके, कि अगर आपके बेनिफिट का वर्डिक्ट आता है कोर्ट की तरफ से या किसी भी इंस्टीट्यूशन की तरफ से, तो वो इंस्टीट्यूशन बिल्कुल ठीक है, बढ़िया है, लेकिन अगर अगेंस्ट आता है तो उस पर सवाल खड़े होते हैं. तो आज ये भी सवाल लोग पूछ रहे हैं, कैसे जवाब देंगे आप?
देखिए, यदि आप मानवीय अधिकार भी छीन लेना चाहते हैं कि हमारे अगेंस्ट में भी यदि जजमेंट आए और उसके बाद में भी हम हंसी और ठहाका लगाएं, तो मुझे लगता है कि ये बेईमानी होगी. जब किसी के भी अगेंस्ट में कोई जजमेंट आता है तो निश्चित तौर पे उस पर वो सोचता है, वो दुखी होता है और उसको अपनी प्रतिक्रिया भी देता है नपे तुले अंदाज में. लेकिन जब पक्ष में फैसला हो तो क्यों ना जश्न मनाएं और क्यों ना कहें कि आपने, सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि पीएमएलए एक्ट के तहत जो दांत आपने तेज की थी ना, उस धार को गुड कर दिया कोर्ट ने आज, और कहा कि नहीं कि कोई इसके तहत ये आता ही नहीं है, वो दांत तोड़ दिए हैं आपके आज कोर्ट ने. ये बात समझिए.
We'll leave it there. Of course, it's going to be a top focus ahead as well, because the case is going to continue. continue. As I mentioned, ED has decided to challenge this particular order as well. Thank you very much, all of you gentlemen, for joining us here on this debate.